Welcome to Module 1, Lesson 1.1, Overview of the New York Court System. This is Lesson 2 of 80 in your NYLC and NYLE journey, and it's a critical foundation for almost everything you'll see on the exam and in practice. In the next few minutes, you'll get a clear mental map of how New York's courts are structured, who does what, and how precedent flows from the top down. Let's start with the naming trap that confuses almost everyone coming from another jurisdiction. In most states, the Supreme Court is the highest appellate court. In New York, that's not true. The New York Court of Appeals is the highest court in the state and the final word on New York law. The New York Supreme Court is actually a trial court of general, original jurisdiction, a court where cases start, not where they end. So whenever you see Supreme Court in New York, think major trial court, not court of last resort. Now let's walk the hierarchy, top to bottom. At the top, we have the Court of Appeals. It hears appeals from the state's intermediate appellate courts. It sets binding precedent for every other court in New York. Just below that is the Appellate Division of the Supreme Court. This is New York's intermediate appellate court, divided into 4 geographic departments: 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Each department hears appeals from trial courts in its region. At the trial level, we have the Supreme Court, a court of unlimited civil jurisdiction and major criminal jurisdiction. It handles big civil cases, felonies, and has exclusive jurisdiction over divorces and other matrimonial actions. Alongside the Supreme Court, New York has several specialized trial courts, including Surrogates Court for wills and estates, Family Court for custody, support, and juvenile matters, Court of Claims for money claims against the state, and local civil and criminal courts with limited monetary or subject matter jurisdiction. Finally, let's talk briefly about precedent, because this comes up a lot on the NYLE. Court of Appeals decisions are binding on every court in New York, no exceptions. Appellate division decisions are binding on trial courts within the same department, but are only persuasive in other departments. That means the law on a specific issue can temporarily look different in different parts of the state until the Court of Appeals steps in and issues a uniform rule. In just a few minutes, you've seen why New York's naming is unique, how the Court of Appeals, Appellate Division, Supreme Court, and specialized courts fit together, and how binding versus persuasive precedent works in this system. In the lesson content and quiz, you'll go deeper, identifying which court hears which type of case, mapping appellate pathways, and applying precedent rules to concrete scenarios. When you're ready, move on to the written content and practice, then complete the quiz to lock this in. This structure is the skeleton of New York law. Once you own this map, everything else in civil procedure, family law, criminal practice, and beyond will make a lot more sense. Continue. Lesson 1.1 content and quiz with Progress Indicator 2/80 lessons complete.